I'm starting today not in Georgetown, but in the historic Hampton Plantation just outside of the city. And that feels appropriate because before Georgetown was a charming waterfront city, before the restaurants and before the hotels and before the Harborwalk and the steel mill and the industrial scars that you can see from the air, this area was shaped by land, water, labor, wealth, and commerce. Places like this remind you that history doesn't begin on Main Street. It begins along the rivers, the rice fields, and the plantations, and in the ports that connected the Lowcountry with the rest of the world. The rice economy that shaped this region depended on enslaved labor. After emancipation in 1865, that old plantation model could no longer sustain itself. So that's the question I'm bringing with me today. What is Georgetown now? Places like Hampton Plantation are quiet now, but that quiet can be misleading. This is where the story begins, not with charm, but with land, labor, water, and power. I've driven Highway 17 plenty of times before, and Georgetown kind of sneaks up on you. As you're heading north on Highway 17 on the left-hand side, you'll see the old paper mill. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see the old steel mill. The steel mill is being demolished, and I hear that the paper mill is going to be demolished as well. This gives this place a strange feeling of transition. Something old is coming down, and something new is going to replace it. Then, after you cross the bridge on the Sampit River, you eventually take a right-hand turn on Prince Street. I think that's aptly named, and it's a completely different feel, a completely different vibe. Oak trees line the streets, Spanish moss, typical quiet southern Lowcountry feel. And then you take a left-hand turn on Front Street. Suddenly, it's alive. People, parking, traffic, restaurants, museums, bars. It's not a manufactured energy. It's a real energy. I checked into the George Hotel based on a recommendation from a friend, and I lucked out and got upgraded to a water view room. That was really nice. So we're down here this morning on the waterfront here in Georgetown, and out in front of us is Winyah Bay. To the right is the Sampit River. To the left is the Pee Dee River, and there's actually two additional rivers that flow in here, the Waccamaw and the Black River. And so all of those four rivers come together at this point. And you have this island here, which is called Goat Island, which really provides a natural protective harbor here. And what the city has done is built what's called the Harborwalk that runs up and down, boardwalk essentially, and really quite a gathering spot for folks. Last night as I was walking around, saw quite a few people. Of course, you have a number of boats that are at each of these slips, and I've talked to a couple of sailors that have boats or sailboats that are either on a ball or they're on the hook, on anchor, here in this protective harbor. And they've told me how much they really like it and how accommodating Georgetown is for them. So they really enjoy it here. So it's really quite a nice spot. As I explore Georgetown more, I find it very interesting that really the soul of the city is grounded in the land and grounded in industry. It all really started with indigo, which was seen as an extremely valuable dye by the British. The Revolutionary War put a quick end to that whole industry. This area then pivoted to rice plantations and rice farming, and there is a strong history about rice in this culture. As industry and population grew, this area became more affluent. Lumber was then one of the most important things that this area produced. Not too far from where I'm at right now, actually one of the largest lumber mills on the East Coast was made in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. International Paper then followed with a paper mill right over in this area. And that was, at one point in time, that was one of the largest paper mills in the world. Following that, the steel trade came in, and steel fabrication became an extremely important thing for American Steel, which had a factory just right over here. That steel mill has been closed down. They're in the process of demolishing that whole thing. And you can really get a sense that this whole area will continue to develop on around and become part of this Harborwalk area that's out here in front of us. Very interesting how this city has adapted and overcome all of these different things over the years and found a way to shift its industry base. And it's important that history not be lost. If you're enjoying this kind of story, travel, history, and the places in between, consider liking the video and subscribing. It helps more people find these films, and it helps me keep telling them. So for dinner tonight, I actually ordered 2 appetizers. I started off with the she crab soup, and that was really fantastic. It had a big pile of crab meat right in the middle of it. And then this is called the Oyster Tower, and it's got a couple of fried oysters and fried green tomatoes. Let me give you a look at that. That's what it looks like right there. Looks really good, really fantastic. Start with some of the oyster. Very good. So, you know, Georgetown doesn't really introduce itself cleanly. It gives you beauty, history, water, decay, and industry all at one time. And maybe that's because it's a town that wasn't designed around tourism. It's a town that tourism discovered after industry left its mark. The more I walk around Georgetown, the less it feels like a contradiction, and the more that it feels like a conversation. Old and new, polished and rough, remembered and forgotten. And somehow, all of that is happening just a few blocks from the water. After tracing Georgetown's industrial past, watching these kids learn to sail felt like something different. The same water that once carried commerce, labor, lumber, paper, and steel now carries possibility. Maybe that's what comes next, learning to read the wind, trust the current, and chart a course forward. I came here with a list, a plan, and a few places marked on the map. But places like this really don't reveal themselves on paper. They reveal themselves in the weather, in the people, and on the streets. Georgetown started as a name, and it ends as a feeling. Pack the car, make sure the camera's ready, and bring your rain jacket just in case. We'll see you on the road.